Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I'm Ty Glenn. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. This is going to be a busy week in the NHL as the trade deadline is this Friday, March the 6th. Got plenty of hockey to talk about. Until then, just a couple announcements regarding the trade deadline and the podcast itself. So instead of the podcast coming out at 1 o'clock p.m. Central Time, as some of you guys may have known, I've been getting them out at 1:30 p.m. Central Time, which is when I said that the podcast or each episode will be. It will be from 1 o'clock p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Central Time. And it seems that I keep getting them out a little bit later than that. So I'm going to try and have the Hockey Talk with TG podcast come out at 1:30 p.m. Central Time. Somewhere around 1:30 p.m., 1:35 p.m. Central Time, and then it will end around 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time. I think that's going to be the goal for the podcast. And also, like I mentioned, the NHL trade deadline is this Friday, March the 6th. Usually we do the Hockey Talk with TG podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I may drop an episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast Friday afternoon following the NHL trade deadline. Once all trades have been finalized and once you hear that final buzzer sound, I might drop an episode Friday afternoon or sometime this weekend about the trade deadline, just recapping all the trades. Be on the lookout for that. I may even drop an episode for... Well, actually, I am going to drop an episode for Thursday because we do the Hockey Talk Teach podcast on Thursday. But on Thursday, I will discuss some predictions that we might see at the trade deadline. And then for Friday afternoon, once the final horn sounds, once all trades have been finalized, no other teams can make trades after that final horn, after that final buzzer, I might drop an episode Friday afternoon following the NHL trade deadline. And if not Friday afternoon, then sometime this weekend. And also another announcement, make sure that you like and subscribe to the Hockey Talk TV Podcast YouTube channel and follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. This is going to be a crucial time of the year for the NHL and for teams. We got the college hockey playoffs coming up in April, Stanley Cup playoffs coming up in April, and then the Frozen Four. Lots of reasons to be following and subscribe to the Hockey Talk with TG podcast so you don't miss any updates on the latest hockey news going on, whether it's NHL, college hockey, AHL, minor league hockey, whatever. We got you covered on the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. So make sure that you are following the Hockey Talk TG podcast, whether that be on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Episodes coming out every Tuesday and Thursday from 1:30 p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time, and then 2:30 p.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure to follow the Hockey Talk TG podcast if you are not already. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started into the NHL news for today. Detroit Red Wings, Nashville Predators. Red Wings hold off the Nashville Predators with a 4-2 win in Nashville in the Music City on Monday. And this was an afternoon game. It was a 1 o'clock p.m. puck drop yesterday. I was kind of surprised to see why the NHL would do this. And the reason why the NHL would do it, according to NHL Network and the Predators broadcast, I was watching the game on the Predators broadcast, Nashville, Tennessee. So I was watching the game on there. And they were saying that this game was a 1 o'clock p.m. Central Time puck drop was because the game was streaming internationally, worldwide, to the people in Italy, Ireland, Germany, Finland, Switzerland. So those people living in those countries had to stay up late to watch the game. This was a 7 o'clock p.m. or maybe 8 o'clock p.m.-ish puck drop for them, while for us in the USA, it's a 1 o'clock p.m. puck drop. So they were streaming this game internationally, worldwide, to European countries or so outside the U.S. So that's why this puck drop was a 1 o'clock p.m. puck drop. At first, I didn't know why they were doing it, and I thought they weren't going to explain why they were doing it. Usually, the NHL does this on weekdays. I have afternoon games on weekdays whenever there's like a holiday or, some type of occasion. They might do an afternoon puck drop on a weekday, but they were doing it on Monday yesterday because, there was like other countries tuning into the game worldwide, like all the European countries, and they were celebrating them. And I think they're also doing a hockey day thing worldwide as well, so that could be another reason. But anyways, with the win, Detroit improves to 35-20-6 of the season, tied with the Buffalo Sabres with 76 points for second place in the Atlantic Division. Detroit is currently third in the Atlantic with 76 points. Buffalo is second with 76 points. So both teams are tied, but Buffalo, again, is second. Detroit is third. And we all know the story for the Detroit Red Wings. Haven't made the playoffs in a decade. The last time we saw Red Wings playoff hockey was in 2016. Pavel Datsyuk was on the team then. Dylan Larkin was a rookie then. Pavel Datsyuk was playing his last year in the NHL then. Jimmy Howard on the team then. Patrick Kane was not on the Red Wings then. He was still playing for the Chicago Blackhawks. Alistair Brinkin, I'm guessing, was playing in the OHL at the time because I think he got drafted by the Blackhawks, I think in 2016, 2017 is when he got drafted by the Blackhawks. But he was not on the Red Wings at the time. Little Caesars Arena. And I wish that arena was still around. But Little Caesars Arena, not Little Caesars Arena, Joe Louis Arena. Joe Louis Arena was still around that time. And I wish the Joe was still around. Like, them playoff games at Joe Louis Arena was so electric. It was electrifying. And their playoff games were, like, really unreal to watch. Like, just being there in person and watching on TV. Being there in person as a hockey fan overall and watching on TV, those playoff games would just eat at you. Like, it was unreal to watch a playoff game at Joe Louis Arena. I wish that arena was still around. Unfortunately, they tore it down in 2017. But it is what it is. But yeah, I love going to that arena. I love watching playoff hockey at that arena. So it was like unreal. And don't forget the Predators and Red Wings, they used to be rivals back in the day. These two teams used to be rivals back in the day when the Red Wings were playing in the Western Conference before they moved to the Eastern Conference. And these two teams met in the playoffs before. This was when Shea Weber, Pecorine, I think Roman Josi was a rookie then at the time, when the Predators were facing the Red Wings in the playoffs, and then the Predators had those navy bluish type of jerseys before they went to the gold jerseys. And the Predators logo was like a vintage kind of logo. It's not the gold logo that you see today. It was a different kind of logo, different kind of branding for the team when these two teams went at it in these Stanley Cup playoffs. So it could still be a little bit of a rivalry. I have a friend that still likes the Red Wings, and he is a Predators fan. So there still could be a little bit of a rivalry, even though the Red Wings don't play in the Western Conference anymore. They play in the Eastern Conference, but still could be a rivalry between Nashville and Detroit. Who knows? But this game was important for both teams. And the Red Wings got the huge 2 points in this one. Albert Johansson scored the game-winning goal in the game, scored a shorthanded goal with 3 minutes and 24 seconds remaining in the second period. Then Alistair Brinkin had the empty netter to seal the deal. Emmett Finney also scored for Detroit. And I think somebody else had a goal for Detroit as well, but I'm not sure who it was. It was the Brinkin, Finney, Johansson. Okay, Lucas Raymond. So Lucas Raymond also scored for Detroit in the win. Mason Appleton, Marco Kasper each had 2 assists. John Gibson made 10 saves on 11 shots faced the net. He did lead this game with an upper body injury, so he missed the second and third period. But Cam Talbot came into play. He came to the game in relief for John Gibson and made 18 saves. But John Gibson will be evaluated, I should say, when the Red Wings return to Detroit. The next game is Wednesday against the VGK, Vegas Golden Knights, 6 o'clock p.m. puck drop Central Time at home. And for the Nashville Predators, Philip Forsberg and Jonathan Marchessault scored for the Predators. UC Sauls made 27 saves on 30 shots faced the net. And the Predators have lost 2 straight games. They lost 4 of their last 5 games. Of course, the only win that the Predators had in those 5 games was against my Chicago Blackhawks on February 26th. And that was their first game back from the Olympic break. In fact, both teams' first game back from the Olympic break was on February 26th. And with the loss, the Predators dropped to 27-25-8 of the season. They are back in action against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And man, oh man, are they going to need a huge 2 points in that one. They are currently 4 points out of a playoff spot. The Mammoth and the Oilers occupy the 2 wildcard playoff spots in the Western Conference, both with 66 points. So it's the Sharks, the Predators, the Kings, who recently fired their head coach Jim Hiller. All these teams have 62 points, and they are outside the bubble trying to get into a wild card spot. So these games at this point of the season are so necessary, and the Predators can't slack off. They cannot slack off, or at least any team that's looking in to get into the playoffs. They cannot be slacking off. They cannot be losing these games. These games are so crucial in these final 2 months of the NHL season. And with the deadline this Friday, these teams are going to be looking to bolster their roster for the Stanley Cup playoffs. So the Predators will be in Columbus on Tuesday today to take on the Blue Jackets. That's a 6 o'clock p.m. puck drop. Red Wings' next game is tomorrow on Wednesday against the VGK Vegas Golden Knights. That's a 6 o'clock p.m. puck drop. But moving on from the Music City to the Big Apple, Blue Jackets and Rangers. Madison Square Garden, Kirill Marchenko, he scored twice in the Blue Jackets 5-4 overtime win over the New York Rangers on Monday. And one of his goals was the game-winning goal in overtime as he scored a minute and 4 seconds into overtime. And before that, he had the power play goal in the first period that put Columbus up 2-0. He also had an assist for a 3-point night. And with the win, Columbus improves to 30-21-8 of the season. And right now, for the Columbus Blue Jackets, they are 3 points out of a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. The Bruins have 71 points for the second wildcard spot. Canadians with 75 points for the first wildcard playoff spot. And right above the Blue Jackets are the Washington Capitals with 69 points. Both teams, I believe, are in action today. Capitals play the Mammoth and the Blue Jackets play the Predators. So crucial 2 points for each team in those matchups. But the Blue Jackets, they found a way. They actually blew a 4-goal lead in this game. They blew a 4-goal lead to the homeless, or I shouldn't even say homeless, because the Rangers have won games at home this season already, but they've been terrible at home overall. But the Blue Jackets did squander a 4-goal lead to the New York Rangers in this one, but still found a way to prevail and win in overtime. So, again, huge 2 points for the Blue Jackets in that one. Adam Fantilli, Sean Monahan, and Matthew Olivier scored the other goals for the Blue Jackets. Sean Monahan's goal was a shorthanded goal. Elvis Merzlikins, he made 29 saves on 33 shots faced the net. Zach Werenski, gold medalist with Team USA, he was a late scratch in this one. He's out with an illness. And according to Blue Jackets head coach Rick Bowness, he was at the arena on Monday to receive some fluids, but he doesn't know if Werenski will be able to play on Tuesday against Nashville. So that is yet to be determined, but I'm pretty sure we'll hear some eventually before the game, like probably on NHL Now. They'll discuss it or so. Somewhere on NHL Network they'll mention it, but we'll just have to see how everything will go. For the New York Rangers, Gabriel Perreault scored twice for the Rangers, also had an assist for a 3-point night. And fun fact, Gabe Perreault became the first Rangers player 20 years old or younger to have a 3-point period since Alex Kovalev did it on December 26th of 1993. And he's also the first Rangers rookie to post 3 points in the third period since Tony Amont did it on February 14th of 1992. Will Borgen also had a goal and assist for a 2-point night. Vladislav Gavrikov also scored for the Rangers, while Igor Shesterkin made 23 saves on 28 shots faced the net. And this was an interesting fact from Bar Down. Probably won't be an interesting fact if you're a New York Rangers fan, but it's been 99 days since the Rangers last won a home game in regulation. 99 days since the Rangers last won a regulation home game. Their last home game win in regulation was against the St. Louis Blues on November 24th. And they won 3-2 in that one. So it was a close game, but the Rangers held on for the win. Their home record overall is 7-15-6, and we all know the first 4 or 5 home games this season for the Rangers, they have been shut out. So they have not been doing good at home, and for an electric arena like Madison Square Garden, they want to see the Rangers win some home games. I mean, it's one of the best arenas to go watch a hockey game at. And the Rangers fans, or the Rangers players, aren't giving the fans their money's worth as they continue to play poorly at home. It just sucks to see that. And they dropped to 23-29-8 of the season following the loss. The Rangers conclude their 5-game homestand against Austin Matthews and the Toronto Maple Leafs on Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Blue Jackets starting their 4-game homestand on Tuesday against the Predators at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. But moving on from the Big Apple to the West Coast, as the Colorado Avalanche held off the LA Kings with a 4-2 win on the road at, what's the new arena name? I don't know. I'm just going to still call it Staples Center. I can't figure out the new arena name for the LA Kings. I know they changed their arena name, but I still call it Staples Center. That was the arena name when I was watching hockey as a kid. Growing up watching hockey, it was always called Staples Center, but they changed the new arena name to something else. Okay, it's called Crypto.com Arena. That's the new arena name. But I always still call it Staples Center because that's what it was for me as a kid. And I'm pretty sure people living in LA will still call it Staples Center as well. Devontae with the game-winning goal in this game for the Colorado Avalanche. He scored with 4 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in the third period. And with the win, Colorado improves to 40-10-9 of the season. Won 4 of the last 5 games. And they're the first team this season to reach 40 wins. And it's the 4th time that the Avalanche have reached 40 wins since they relocated to Denver in the 1995-96 season. And they went on to win the Stanley Cup in 2 of the previous 3 instances. They won in 2001 and they won in 2022. Martin Natchez and Gabriel Landeskog each had a goal and 2 assists for a 3-point night. Nathan MacKinnon just Nathan MacKinnon had a goal and assist for a 2-point night. Mackenzie Blackwood made 19 saves on 21 shots faced in net. And Artturi Lehkonen, he sustained an upper body injury in this game back in the first period, and he did not return after that. And he will not play in Tuesday's game when the Avalanche head to Orange County to take on the Anaheim Ducks. And for the LA Kings, Brent Clark and Angus Booth scored for LA. Brent Clark's goal coming on the power play. Angus Booth's goal coming in 5-on-5 play. And Angus Booth was making his NHL debut in this one. 21 years old from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. He will turn 22 in April. And along with Angus Booth, Kenny Connors and Jared Wright were also making their NHL debut. Connors had 4 shots on goal and 10 minutes and 14 seconds of time on ice. Wright had 9 minutes and 42 seconds of time on ice. And Anton Forsberg made 35 saves on 38 shots faced in net. And the Kings have lost 6 of their last 7 games. And they're 1-5-1 during the span. And to make matters worse, they're without their key players in Quentin Byfield, Drew Doughty, Darcy Kemper, and Joel Armia. And with the loss, they dropped to 24, 22, and 14 of the season. They are 4 points out of a playoff spot in the Western Conference. And like I said, the Mammoth and the Oilers occupy the 2 wildcard playoff spots. And for the Kings, this was their first game since firing Jim Hiller as their head coach on Sunday, in which they named DJ Smith as their interim head coach for the remainder of the season. And the Kings, they're without some of the top 4s. They're 4 points out of a playoff spot. Their next game at home, because they're all on the 6-game homestand, is against Matthew Schaefer, who's been playing unbelievable hockey of late, and the New York Islanders on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That game will be a televised game coming on ESPN for you guys to watch. And Kings, they need to win some of these games. It's crucial at this point in the season. Do it for Anze Kopitar. Anze Kopitar, he's going to be retiring from the NHL at the end of the season. Give him one last playoff run. Well, they won't go on a deep playoff run. If they do make the playoffs, it won't be a deep playoff run for the LA Kings. It'll just probably be most likely another first-round exit for them. But at least Anze Kopitar got to sniff playoff hockey one last time before he retires. What has been an illustrious career for him. 2-time Stanley Cup champion. He played his entire career with the LA Kings. For the Avalanche, they continue their 3-game road trip in Anaheim against the Ducks on Tuesday at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. But let's talk about Matthew Schaefer. I don't know. I'm running out of good things to say about him. I said a lot of good things about Matthew Schaefer. Off air, mostly off air. I haven't said it too much on air, but mostly off air. I've been saying a lot of good things about him. He has been playing unreal hockey. It's just jaw-dropping to see what this kid is made of. He is unhuman. He's playing like a veteran at this point. He had hit the 20-goal mark this season, and he became the youngest defenseman in NHL history to reach that milestone. He also set the New York Islanders franchise record for most goals by a rookie defenseman, surpassing legends like Dennis Potvin. He is the first defenseman or first rookie defenseman in NHL history to be the fastest to score 20 goals. And that 20th goal came in a 5-4 win against the 2-time Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. A dramatic comeback performance in that one. And Matthew Schaefer became only the 4th rookie defenseman in NHL history to score 20 goals in one season, joining elite companies such as Brian Leetch, Barry Beck, and Dion Phaneuf. And that highlights just how rare his offensive production is for a blue line, especially at age 18 years old. And he was actually named the first star of the week after a stretch where he scored multiple huge clutch goals, including 2 in 55 seconds to spark a comeback. And then he had another multi-point game. He led the league in goals during that week and was the first Islanders rookie defenseman to earn Star of the Week honors. Just incredible with the way that he's playing. Like, he's playing this like he's already been here. Like, been there, done that. Like, come on. Like, it's just so... Like I said, I'm running out of things to say about him. I said a lot of good things about Matthew Schaefer. He's been coming up close. It seems like every time when the Islanders play, Matthew Schaefer is always coming up clutch for them. And his offensive surge has boosted the Islanders' standings, helping them matched their last season win totals with games to spare and positioning them in a playoff spot as they are currently sitting at third in the Metro with a 35-21-5 record of the season with 75 points. They're tied with the Pittsburgh Penguins for second in the Metro with 75 points. Not to mention, they have won 5 in a row. That's mainly because of the work and production that Matthew Schaefer has been putting in. Like, every time I watch an Islanders game, he's always on the score sheet. He's always coming up clutch, and he's always playing an unbelievable game. Like it's crazy to see the work that he's done for somebody that's an 18-year-old defenseman. Like, he hasn't even been. This is his first season in the NHL, and he's playing like this has been like year 5, year 6, year 7 for Matthew Schaefer, and this is only his first season. This is his first season in the NHL. I wonder how many points does he have, though. That's what I'm curious about. He has 44 points in 61 games this season. 20 goals, 24 assists for 44 points in 61 games played this season for Matthew Schaefer. I was going to say that if the Islanders make the playoffs, which it pretty much looks like they will, could he be an MVP candidate? Maybe. I'm probably just being delusional at that point. At that point, I am being delusional. But it's been fun watching Matthew Schaefer every night, and I would be excited to see him every night. If I was an Islanders fan, I would probably be getting a Matthew Schaefer jersey right away. Like, he loves the city. He loves being here. He said it multiple times, just like Connor Bedard has for the Chicago Blackhawks. And he loves being a New York Islander. Like, I hope that he plays his whole career with the New York Islanders, but we'll just have to see. Can't speak too soon on that. But taking a look at his ice time this year, he's been playing big minutes on the ice. He's averaging 24 minutes of ice time per game. 24 minutes and 7 seconds of ice time per game. And he's contributing on the power play. He's been in all situations out on the ice, demonstrating two-way value beyond points. That level for an 18-year-old is unmatched. And the type of play he's an elite offensive defenseman with a high hockey IQ. He's a smooth skater. He's a dynamic skater and uncommon poise for his age and for the type of player that he is. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say about Matthew Schaefer, just to highlight him, just talk about him with the way that he's playing for the Islanders. I'm running out of things to say. So if you're an Islanders fan that's listening to this podcast, this episode, let me know your thoughts on Matthew Schaefer and just share more things about him, man. Could he, at some point in his career, win an MVP Hart Memorial Trophy? Could that be in the discussion? It probably won't be this season. It probably might just be me being delusional at that point. But, yeah, with the way he's playing, the scoring pace that he's playing, with the way he's playing for the Islanders has just been unreal. And he's having a season that no other 18-year-old defenseman would have. Like, he's besting legends. He's breaking records. And he's on this, like, offensive surge. Like, his game is more of he's more of an offensive defenseman. I don't know if I said that. Did I say that? Okay, I probably did say that. But he's more of an offensive defenseman than he is a defensive defenseman. And I think he can be a great penalty killer as well. Put him out on special teams. And like I said, he's been out there on the power play. He's contributed on the power play. I think he can also be a great player on the penalty kill as well. So put him out on the penalty kill, and he will come up clutch for sure. But let's just go to daily face-off for a second just to see if he is on the penalty kill unit. Let's see. Is he on the penalty kill unit? Okay, he's not on the penalty kill unit, but I think he'll be a great penalty kill type of player. That's just my thoughts. But let's talk about the other games from the Monday slate as the Flyers take down the Maple Leafs 3-2 in the shootout. Trevor Zegras with the shootout game-winning goal in that game. Trevor Zegras, he kind of reminds me of Patrick Kane because Patrick Kane in a shootout, he will always score those nasty highlight reel goals. And Trevor Zegras is doing the same. So that's why I say he kind of reminds me of Patrick Kane. The smooth stick handling, the poise, and just the type of shots that he takes to shootout is pretty amazing to watch. Like, I've watched a couple of his shootout highlights, Trevor Zegras shootout highlights, and they have just been unreal. A lot of creativity from Trevor Zegras, and we've seen that before when he was on the Anaheim Ducks. We saw the Michigan goal that he's been scoring a bunch of times. I hope that he scores a Michigan this year with Philly. And we also saw a Michigan pass around the net to Sonny Milano. So when he has the puck on the ice, he's a dangerous player to watch and to play against. Stars win 6-1 against the Vancouver Canucks. Liam Michelle scored twice in that one. And the Kraken get a huge 2 points as they win 2-1 over the top team in the Eastern Conference in the Carolina Hurricanes. But take a look at the NHL games on the slate, and my oh my, is it a busy one. An 11-game NHL slate for today. Starting with the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Boston Bruins at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. No Sidney Crosby for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He continues to be out with an injury that he sustained in the Winter Olympics. I think he's going to be out for like 4 to 6 weeks, which is going to be bad if you're a Penguins fan, because the Penguins they're in a playoff spot. But if you're a Penguins fan, you're hoping that they don't slip out and lose these games without Sidney Crosby in the lineup, without Captain Canada in the lineup. So, yeah, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why Canada lost to USA in the Olympics, because there was no Sidney Crosby in the lineup, but they still had a lot of other good pieces on that team. So, yeah, USA was just the underdogs. They found a way to win against Canada in the Winter Olympics. Speaking of which, Jack Hughes was on Saturday Night Live with Quentin Hughes, Megan Keller, and I think one of the guys that stars on Heated Rivalry. They were all on there together. But it was great seeing Jack Hughes, Quentin Hughes, Megan Keller, and some of the other USA Hockey team members on Saturday Night Live. I didn't watch it yet, but I did see posts about it, though. But I will watch it probably after I get done recording and posting this episode of the Hockey Talk TG podcast. But still continuing with the 11-game slate, we got the Vegas Golden Knights in Buffalo taking on the Buffalo Sabres. Sabres are surprising each and every hockey fan right now. They won 3 in a row. They're in a playoff spot. Haven't made the playoffs in oh so long. Looking to snap their playoff drought. And they're in the playoff spot, second place in the Atlantic with 76 points. Look to keep this win streak going and look to keep this momentum going in these final 2 months of the 2025-26 NHL season. And then we got the 2-time Cup champions in action as the Florida Panthers are in Newark, New Jersey, taking on Jack Hughes and the New Jersey Devils at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That game will air on TNT and HBO Max for you guys to watch. Then we got the Utah Mariners taking on the Washington Capitals at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. This is going to be a huge win for the Utah Mariners. They need these 2 points. They are sitting in a wild card playoff spot. They need to win these games. The Capitals, they're outside the playoff spot, so they also need a win in this one. So huge 2 points for both of these teams. Then we got the Nashville Predators taking on the CBJ Columbus Blue Jackets at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Both teams outside the playoff spot. Another huge 2 points. And then we got the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Winnipeg Jets at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So Jonathan Toews facing against his former team. Once again, the last time these two teams met was in Chicago on January 19th, when Jonathan Toews received that 3-4 minute standing ovation that he deserved after all his contributions that he did for the Chicago Blackhawks and leading us to 3 Stanley Cups and winning the 2010 Conn Smythe Trophy for playoff MVP. He was a leader on and off the ice for the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Jets are far out of a playoff spot. So maybe this doesn't be the year that Jonathan Taves will return to playoff hockey for his hometown Winnipeg Jets team, as they are 10 points out of a playoff spot, and they are 23, 26, and 10 of the season. So maybe not the year that the Jets made the playoffs after winning the President's Trophy last year. So that's kind of crazy to point out, but it is what it is. Then we got the Dallas Stars taking on the Calgary Flames at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And then the Ottawa Senators taking on the Edmonton Oilers at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Brady Tkachuk versus Connor McDavid. This could be Connor Murphy's debut for the Oilers, as he was acquired by the Oilers in a trade with Chicago Blackhawks. As a Blackhawks fan, with some nothing but the best of luck in Edmonton, he finally gets to get a taste of playoff hockey. If you don't count the bubble year that much, which ironically the Blackhawks did beat the Oilers in the qualifying round that year to advance to the Stanley Cup playoffs before they lost to the Golden Knights. But if you don't count the bubble year, Connor Murphy has never been in a playoff game before, doing all his years in Chicago, doing his tenure in Chicago. He's never sniffed playoff hockey. He's never had like a moment or close up of playoff hockey. And he's finally going to get that with the Edmonton Oilers. But he didn't complain about it too much in Chicago. He actually didn't complain about it at all during his time in Chicago. And it's been some dark years for him with the Blackhawks. And he's finally going to go to the Stanley Cup playoffs and play playoff hockey. Wish him nothing but the best of luck in Edmonton. As a Blackhawks fan, I think this was a good trade for both sides. Connor Murphy getting to get playoff hockey. Blackhawks still building for the future. They did retain 50% of Connor Murphy's salary, by the way. So just wanted to mention that. But yeah, can't wait to see. If this does be his Oilers debut, I will be watching that game. I'll probably have like 3 screens up because I know Ole Miss plays against Memphis today for baseball. And I think that game comes on at 6:30 p.m., 6:35 p.m. So I'll be watching that. And I'll also be watching the Blackhawks game against the Jets. And then if Connor Murphy makes his debut with the Oilers, I'll probably watch that game as well. Then we got the Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the Minnesota Wild at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That game will air on TNT, TruTV, and HBO Max for you guys to watch. And then we got the Colorado Avalanche taking on the Anaheim Ducks at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And then to wrap things up, we got the Montreal Canadiens taking on the San Jose Sharks, 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Well, before we sign off on the Hockey Talk with TG podcast, just to update you guys on the playoff spots for each team, and we'll do this for each episode from now on to the end of the season, since this is a crucial point in time of the season for the NHL teams to get into a playoff spot. So from now to the end of the season, we'll update you guys on playoff spots. We probably won't do this. I'll try and do this a lot, but it's probably going to remain more the same every time I do this, but it wouldn't hurt to say each and every time. But anyways, for the Atlantic, we got, for the Eastern Conference really, for the Atlantic, we got the Lightning first, Sabres second, Red Wings third. For the Metro, we got the Hurricanes first, Penguins second, Islanders third. And for the wild card, we got the Canadiens and Bruins occupying those wild card spots. Capitals, Blue Jackets, Flyers, you can even throw in the Senators looking to get into the wild card spot and make the playoffs. For the Western Conference, Avalanche first in Central, Stars second, Wild third. And for the Pacific, Golden Knights first, Ducks second, Kraken third, and the Mammoth and the Oilers occupying those wild card spots with 66 points apiece. Sharks, Predators, and Kings all looking in to get into the Stanley Cup playoffs. But that's going to do it for this episode of Hockey Talk with TG Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. Really do appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button. And make sure that you are following the Hockey Talk TG podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Episodes come out every Tuesday and Thursday from 1:30 p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 2:30 p.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So just make sure that you are following the Hockey Talk TG podcast, especially where we are at this point in the season. You are not going to want to miss a episode of the Hockey Talk TG podcast. So make sure that you are following Hockey Talk TG podcast on all of your podcast streaming platforms: Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. This is your number one podcast for all things hockey. Both of you guys have a great rest of your day. Keep God first as always. Be blessed. I will see you guys on Thursday for another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Take care.